Michael Denner here with a short lecture on the Russian language for elementary Russian language at Stetson University. I wanted to talk with you very briefly, 15 minutes, about the Russian consonant and vowel system. You have to talk about them together because they interact in Russian in a way that they don't in English. So let's start with some basic definition of terms. Consonants. Consonants are any sound that you make with a partial or complete closure of the vocal tract. In other words, you in one way or another constrict or stop the airflow. So consonants in Russian and in English are letters or sounds like B, P, T, N, M. Those are opposed to vowels, which are pronounced with a completely open vocal tract. We don't impede the air. Instead, we shape our voice so that we articulate the vowels in different parts of our mouths. You get vowels that are pronounced way in the back of the mouth, like ooh, and you get vowels that are pronounced in the middle of the mouth, like ah, and you get vowels that are pronounced in the front of your mouth, like e. This is all true in both Russian and in English. There's no real difference between those basic facts of how you articulate consonants and vowels. But like I said, the Russian system is kind of complex, and I want to start off by making two observations. The first observation is that Russian has half as many consonants as it needs, and Russian has twice as many vowels as it needs. And it has this system, and I'm obviously cutting corners here and not giving you a full explanation. I don't think many linguists would be happy with the way that I'm about to explain this, but I think it's a very pragmatic way for you to understand the system of Russian consonants and vowels. So I said here that Russian has half as many consonants as it needs. That's because the majority of consonants in Russian actually have two values, two phonetic values, let's say. That is to say that in English we really only have one D consonant sound, and we really only have one P consonant sound and one N consonant sound. But for most of the consonants in Russian, there are two very distinct, very importantly different consonant sounds. So there are two Ds and two Ts and two Ms and two Ns. And without even speaking about what is the actual phonetic difference between hard and soft, I'll throw out there that all consonants are either hard or soft in Russian. And you have to know how to read some clues that involve the vowels in Russian in order to know whether or not a consonant is pronounced hard or soft. And so you see that one of the functions of the vowel system in Russian is to indicate the value. Vowels indicate the phonetic value of the consonants that precede them. That is to say that a vowel points at the consonant. If there's a consonant before it, it points at that consonant and says, pronounce this consonant this way. So now you understand that Russian has twice as many vowels because vowels perform an additional function in Russian. There are vowels that indicate hardness in the preceding consonant, and there are vowels that indicate softness in the preceding consonant. We talk about hardness and softness, and really what we really should talk about is consonants that are pronounced in a palatalized way. Let's see if we can spell this right. Palatalize. That verb, palatalize, or palatization, is the noun. That refers to the fact that soft consonants get an additional, a secondary consonant value added to them. So let me say that again, that soft consonants equal two consonants. Soft consonants get the regular consonant value, plus they get the J sound. The linguists will call this a yot or a jot. I don't know which is the correct pronunciation. My linguist teacher, linguistics teacher, as an undergraduate called it a jot, but I believe most people call it a yot. And you talk about yotization or iotization or jotization of consonants. That means that you pronounce them soft. And what does that mean? That means that you articulate the consonant in the front of your mouth, along the alveolar ridge, along the dental or gum ridge. That's that area that is directly above the upper set of teeth. If you feel around in your mouth there with your tongue, go ahead and do it. That area that is directly above your upper jaw, that's called your dental or gum ridge, or linguists will call it an alveolar ridge. It's the area that's right in front of your palate, the roof of your mouth. And so get to know the architecture of your mouth there for a second. So when you palatalize or soften consonants in Russian, what you do is that you move the articulation of the consonant forward in your mouth to the E position, to that position that's in the very, very front of your mouth. And if you go E, if you say that vowel, you should actually feel your dental ridge tickle a little bit if you say it. So go ahead and go E, and you'll feel the alveolar ridge, your dental ridge or your gum ridge, buzz a little bit there. What you are going to do is that you're going to use that area to articulate your consonants. And I'm gonna pronounce a couple words very, very clearly and very slowly that have palatalized or softened consonants in them, and you'll hear this quality. It's almost like I'm pronouncing a Y sound, like the Y in the word yellow, along with the primary consonant value. The word that most people know in Russian is the word "нет," and that first consonant, this N here, is palatalized, and you can kind of hear that. And when people try to represent the way that sounds in English, oftentimes they'll write N-Y-E-T, and that kind of captures that secondary consonant that reverberates after or along with the primary consonant sound. Here's another word, the word, let's say, tsyotya. That word means ant in Russian, and the T's are soft. And listen to me pronounce it. Tsyotya. So you hear it's not like ta ta ta. It's tss 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 tss. So I don't want to spend a lot of time practicing the articulation of these consonants, because that's something that we can do in class and that we should do in class. Instead, I want to explain to you how do we know whether a consonant is hard or soft. And the first rule that I'm going to teach you, and it's a very important rule, is that the default is hard. What the heck does that mean? That means in the absence of all other information, in the absence of evidence, pronounce a consonant hard. Yeah? So only if you have a reason to pronounce it soft do you pronounce it soft. Otherwise, just assume it's hard. Yeah. So again, we're talking theoretically here. We're kind of trying to sketch out some rules, and it'll make a lot more sense in class when we actually are sitting there working through these words. So the first rule is, unless you have information contrary-wise, assume that the consonant is hard. The consonant is soft if it's followed by and we're going to have two little rules here. The consonant is soft if it's followed by a soft sign. That maybe does not come as a surprise. If it's followed by the myakký znak, this little sign here indicates that the letter that precedes it is pronounced soft. So, for example, in the word for mother, the word mats, that final T there is pronounced as a soft consonant because it's followed by, you got it, a soft sign. The other time that a consonant is pronounced soft is when it is followed by a soft inducing vowel. That's kind of code, yeah? We'll often say that there are soft vowels, but really what we want to say is that there are soft inducing vowels, and if we want to be really specific, we would say that there are vowels that indicate that the consonant that precedes that vowel is a soft consonant. All right, so we started off talking about consonants, and like I said, as soon as you start talking about consonants in Russian, you have to start talking about vowels. So let me end this lecture right now and start a lecture about the vowel system in Russian.